Okay guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to install OpenBSD as a custom virtual machine into VIRL. I have a little cheat sheet over here that helps me to do things on my VIRL server. So this is my VIRL server, I'm directly connected to it. And I guess the first thing that we want to do is to download the OpenBSD image. Now that is coming from the OpenBSD website apparently, and then I'm going to choose a mirror that is close to me. So let's say something that is close to Frankfurt, Germany, and then go for the latest image, which would be in here, 64-bit image. And there is the ISO. So this is the image that we want to grab. So we can copy the link address in here. And then what I usually do is I just wget the image in here, and it downloads that image. Now, another thing that is important to prepare, and that's something that you want to do anyway, is to include your VIRL user into the libvirt group and to add an environment variable into bashrc. So this is the stuff that is mentioned over here. So what you want to have in your bashrc is effectively this URI or this variable that says, okay, so this is the system I'm going to talk to when using VIRL, and this is just a line that you add to the bashrc script that is read by the bash or by the shell when it starts. And then in addition, you have to make sure that your user is part of this libvirt group within Linux. So you would add the VIRL user to the libvirt group using this command line, and you can verify by doing or issuing the ID command, and that shows you that my VIRL user is part of that group. Now to make that effective, you have to log out and log in. For me, it worked immediately because it was already there. So okay, now we do have the ISO image, and we have added the user to the libvirt group. And now the next thing is we actually want to create a disk file. Now the disk file where the operating system should be stored is created using this command here. So we use the QEMU image command, and we create a QCOW2 image with the name of OpenBSD and a size of 32 GB. I mean, this 32 GB size is probably way too much. Let me reduce this. Let's do 8 because that's usually sufficient. That's quick, right? And it has been created, and it only uses not 8 gig, it only uses a couple of bytes, 200 kilobytes in this case for the file. It fills up when we store stuff into the disk image. Okay, now the next thing is we need to create a virtual machine within libvirt, right? And that is using a command that is called virt install. That is not installed by default on the VIRL server, so you have to install that as an additional package, and that is using this command here. So the package is named virt inst, and you just use this command and install that package. And I have it already installed, and usually what you will see is if you haven't installed it before, then there are like 3 or 4 extra dependencies, but it really is a small package set, and it doesn't use a lot of space. All right, now we have this command here, and this command actually creates the virtual machine. So we give it a name, we assign it an amount of memory, so 1 GB is more than enough, 1 CPU. We attach it to the user network that gives us a little external connectivity, but it is not required at this point in time to have external connectivity. The important thing is that there is a network adapter included, and we can use the VirtIO adapter, so that works just fine in BSD or OpenBSD. We specify our disk file here that we just created, and it again uses VirtIO as the driver and the format of the disk file. And then we specify the ISO that we just downloaded with the operating system. For the display, since we are on the console, I'm using VNC, so I'm able to attach to that disk file using VNC. And I'm using the operating system type Unix and the variant OpenBSD 4, so that should be fine. Now, using this command and issuing it here, so what happens now is it will start the installation process. I don't have a graphical console here, so I have to use VNC to actually attach to that console to continue with the installation. Now, if you would use the graphical desktop that is built into the OVA, you could also install a different package, which is virt-manager, that gives you a GUI like VMware workstation or something. But in this case, I'm using my VNC session to control the installation process. Now, how do I find out which port or which VNC display the installation is actually running, or the virtual machine is running on? Now, this is where VIRL comes into play. So I do VIRL, VNC, display, and then OpenBSD. And that tells me, okay, it's running on the local host on display 0. Now, what I have to do is to attach to that thing, since it's not exposed on the external interface of the VIRL host, it's only bound to the local host, like to the local machine. I need to tunnel the VNC session through my secure shell session, and this is how I do it. I do a open up a command window or a command line on my secure shell session, and I forward the local port 5900 to local, actually I wanted local 5191, and this should go to the port that I've just seen. So this is display number 0 on my local host, but it is, actually I have to use a different one. So let's use let's actually use 5902, local host, and then 5991. 5900. Okay, so what this means is if I attach locally on my Mac to 5902, it will forward that connection to my VIRL host on the local host, to the machine itself, on port 5900, which is the port that our virtual machine is running on. Now let's verify this. If we go, no, I have actually opened it already. So if we go to this, VNC now on port 2, we will see, okay, that we can connect to the virtual machine here, and this is our virtual machine in the process of being installed. So what we want to do next is we want to install the operating system. Say keyboard default, let's do OpenBSD, VIO 0 is the interface. DHCP is just fine, so we do get a DHCP address. We don't want IPv6 in this case. And we're done with the interface configuration. Password for root account, I put in Cisco, start SSHD, yes, no, NTPD. We don't want to run the X Windows system, no. And then yes, we want to actually have the console on COM0, which means that we can control the console using a serial line, which is exactly what we want to do. And 9.6 is just fine. And then do we want to set up a user? And I say yes. No, user should be Cisco, and Cisco is fine. Password for user Cisco, Cisco. And yes, that's also fine. Time zone is okay. The software is on the CD-ROM, and yes, that's fine. And we want to map this on the whole disk, so that's fine as a default. That's also fine. And it creates the disk layout. And when this is done, we are going to install the software from the CD that we have attached. So that should be fine. And now we can remove stuff or add stuff that is needed. So we can actually remove XBase 57, unless you want to have it, right? So no, that's not working this way. Let's see, XBase. Let's remove everything. Can we do this? Yes, this works. So we want to remove all these X server related packages. We don't need them. We probably can also remove game. That's also not needed. So this is pretty much what we want to have, and then go ahead with the installation. Image verification apparently doesn't work. So, but this is all that's needed. So this is installing now all the additional packages into our QCOW image, and once this is done, we can proceed and install the resulting image into our VIRL server software repository. Alright, we're done now with this part, and we can actually do a reboot here. Okay, let's see, virtual list. It actually has shut down the virtual machine, so we need to start it up again. OpenBSD. And so this is running now again, and we can now say virtual console OpenBSD, and we are now connected to the serial port on this virtual machine, and you can see it is coming up now. And once it has finally booted, we get a prompt and can log in. Alright, let's log in using root, Cisco, and that's all that's needed on this machine. So we can actually halt it now, and it is ready now for import into VIRL. Okay, so we now disconnect from the console using Control Escape, square bracket, closed square bracket, the same escape sequence as with Telnet. So the machine should be now stopped. No, it's not. So we have to destroy it. Destroy OpenBSD and virtual undefined OpenBSD. So it's gone now. So it doesn't exist anymore, but what does still exist is the disk image, and the disk image is this one. So let's see how big this is. This is 550 megabytes in size. Now this is the image that we want to install into VIRL. Okay, let's go to UWM and to images and add image, right? So we want to have an unmanaged server because we're not able to insert any cloud config or cloud init config into this server. So we just give it a name, say OpenBSD 5.7. The file is on the server, so what we put in here is home VIRL. It's actually down here already. So we put in the file name as it exists on the server. This is all fine down here, so we don't have to do anything in addition. That's it. So we create this file, this image on the VIRL server, and it has been created, and it's ready for use now. So we go over there. So it still says cloud in it, but it really cannot use the cloud init configuration. So we go over to VM Maestro. We are having a very simple topology here, and now we are going to use that server and use the now created OpenBSD image, select it, save it, and start the topology. Right, they have become active. Now I should be able to console into them or into the OpenBSD machine. And as you can see, it boots fine. It will get us to a prompt. Alright, let's log in, Cisco, if config. So we should have an IP address. Where is it? Here it is. And we can actually ping the outside world because my machine is set up to be able to reach the internet. So I could have installed the XE level packages, so you would be able to start a graphical user interface and VNC into the machine. But this should give you a basic idea how to install OpenBSD. And even more so, it also should give you a basic idea of how to install a generic operating system, whether this is BSD, Windows, Linux, or whatever, into VIRL. I hope this is useful, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.